So hello dear people, this will today be an interview with Sir Dragan Pilipovic, and he's Serbian, and we can even say that he is a Serbian patriot. He loves his country, and he's a member of the Radical Party, I think.
Yes.
So we will make a very good interview now, and I will ask him questions so that we know who is he. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Dragan, tell me first, maybe for the people who watch this video, who are you?
Well, I'm 26 years old and I finished political science in Belgrade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and for the past 5 years I have been active into politics, from Serbian Radical Party and the things that are outside the party organization.
So I think that Mr. Sešel is maybe your hero.
Well, wouldn't say hero, but I'm the member of the party, and I very much admire his reputation and the things that he had done, especially while he was in the court of Hague. And as probably you know, many people do not know, he was 12 years in jail on a trial for free speech. And he was on a trial, he was not in prison, he was not proven guilty. And after the 12 years, they decided to acquit him of all charges. He got released, but he never got the money back. They never decided to give him reparation for the time he spent in prison. Which is unprecedented case, anyway.
Yes. But tell me, because a young guy like you, you can play on PlayStation, you can go to football, you can watch television, Santa Barbara and all these serials, you see. And I see at the end that you, like a young guy, you are a patriot.
Yeah.
And even an active patriot.
Yes.
Why are you patriot?
Well, it is a thing. When you look at people around you, when you look all the hardship that is going on around the country, when you look how bad it is run, you feel like somebody is literally pressuring you, that somebody is guilty for your problems, like somebody put the feet on your head, symbolically. And that's why you must react. That's the problem in Serbia. People who do not react, they are partially responsible for the bad situation. They are accomplices by not doing anything. And generally, whenever I think it's a basic human reaction. When you don't like something, when something is doing damage to you, you must react, you must push back, and you must start doing things to stop the bad influence. That's the reason why I got into politics.
Do you want to return to the old, great Serbian history?
Well, we respect our heritage. As you know, we had a big part of our history stolen from us. In the 14th century we had a Battle of Kosovo. After that pretty much it went downwards for us, and the Serbian culture got cut down by Ottoman Empire. They stopped our advances, they decided to try to assimilate us, and even today you had a big population in Serbia that are made of ex-Serbs. They are genetically Serbs, they speak Serbian language, but they decided to make their own identity only based on the Muslim religion they got over from the Turkish people.
Yeah.
So,
what is the influence of the Ottoman Empire in Serbia?
What was in the past? Or,
yes, What did they do in Serbia?
Yeah, oh, terrible things.
Terrible?
The idea was to use Serbia as a colony. And maybe in the West, people often, when they hear the term colony, they think it's something over the sea, something far away. But actually, colony is the place that you do not allow to get developed, where you just take the things you want, and you block their progress. And the Serbia and Balkans in general, also Greece and parts of Bulgaria which were occupied, were used like that. They use the raw materials, they use population if they can, but they do not allow any progress. For example, we had in Serbia a thing that is called blood tax, if my translation is good, and it's the thing, when you have children, the Turkish come, and every fourth children, if I remember good, was taken to serve in a Turkish army. They were taken before the age of 7, and they were trained to be Janishari troops. And that's how far it went. They even decided to literally steal people's children in a legal way with the tax. And it was for almost like 400 years we were under big repression from Turks. And later, only when Austrians and later Russians started helping Serbia with uprisings, we started to get autonomy first, and little by little we gained independence.
This is very hard to hear it, because today I see the map before my eyes of the Serbia before, And today I see that Serbia lost two important territories. It is Kosovo. For me, I'm very clear, because I am president of euro-rus. Kosovo is Serbia, there is no doubt. And for me, even Montenegro is Serbia. And Serbia lost those 2 points. So Kosovo is the protection against Albania and Turkey. And Montenegro is the access to the sea. And for me it is not pleasant to see that Serbia lost this territory. What can you say about it?
Yeah, well, for Montenegro, you must take in consideration in the past, Montenegro was an independent state, but only for one reason. Between Serbia and the Ottoman Empire, when we won independence, and between Montenegro, there was a split. It was not connected. And the Montenegro leaders at that time used to say for themselves, we are Serbs. We just cannot connect with Serbia. But they are Serbs by language, they are Serbs as a national identity. It is just called the other name because you cannot connect. And after we managed to connect those two territories, there was no Montenegro identity, they were all Serbs. But little by little, after the communists came to power in World War II, they decided that there is a problem inside Yugoslavia, that we have too many Serbs. And they started pushing new identities. That's when you get the identity of Bosniaks, so-called Bosniaks. They didn't exist before the World War II. And after the breakup of Yugoslavia, we stayed, only Serbia and Montenegro stayed together. And in 2006 there was a referendum with a small margin, the independence was voted out. And now, today, in Montenegro, Serbs are repressed badly. You can get fired if you are publicly saying you are Serbs. When the government decides where to sponsor public projects, they are in the regions where people declare themselves Montenegro, and they don't give money to the usually northern regions, where people declare themselves as Serbs. So there is a big repression. You must imagine it's a very small country, very small population, everybody knows everybody. And it's very easy to control people, to blackmail them, to blackmail their families, and those kinds of things. And when it comes to Kosovo, which is the biggest subject, Kosovo today is definitely not independent. They are not member of United Nations. They are not recognized by more than half of the world population, but they got a lot of money from the United States. And they have a lot of their own money because of the drug trade. The most of the drugs and heroin that ends up on your streets in Belgium, that ends up in France, that ends up in Germany, it is traded through Kosovo. They don't have industry, they're not hardworking people, but they like to do crime. And actually it was connected, before the wars in the 90s, it was connected to Albanian Secret Service, who used to help them go around Europe and establish their criminal enterprise. And when it comes to Kosovo, you must understand that Albanians in Kosovo today don't even have an army, they only have a police. So they are not developed as a state, but they are protectorate of the Americans and of the European Union. That's why they are so afraid. Like recently, when during an American political presidential campaign, Donald Trump said that they won't sponsor nation building in other states. Like a few days after that, Albanian Prime Minister, not Kosovo, Albanian Prime Minister came out and said, this is a big threat for our future relationships, this is a threat for our national identity, and so on. So you must recognize they are very afraid because they cannot run the state on their own. They never had a state in Kosovo.
So Kosovo is a kind of Israel.
Well,
if Israel has no American money, they have a difficult moment.
Well, it's sponsored abroad.
And this is very important because not many people in the West know this. How do you see the Serbian future?
Well, Serbia today is the poorest country in the Balkans. We even have a less average salary than Albania today. So our nation is, on the other hand, second oldest nation in the world. Only Japan is older than Serbia. We have a big problem with, we have a huge problem with low birth rates. And there is a thing today, we even have a new problem because we are becoming little by little dumping ground for immigrants from Europe. We are cutting the taxes, we are cutting benefits for our own people, for pregnant women, for healthcare, but we are increasing the benefits for the immigrants. And there is also a talk, there is a beginning of that talk that we are so old as a nation that we will need new workforce in the future. And you must understand one thing also about Kosovo. Many of Albanians who live today in Kosovo came during the communist time because of policy of open borders. there was an idea, probably like today in Belgium or the rest European Union, let them come in, they will be nice, they will respect us, they will be grateful because we let them in. And they were so grateful that they ethnically cleansed us from Kosovo. And now we are repeating same mistakes again by giving asylums, by accepting them to come to our country.
If you was, for example, the president of Serbia, what would you do?
First of all, we need to change our trade agreements. Our trade agreements are terrible. We have biggest trade balance, as they say, with European Union, but it's a trade balance. Maybe I didn't translate it well, but it's a trade exchange.
Yeah.
But it works like this, it's exchange. They sell us things, we buy, so money goes to them. We cannot sell anything to Germans. Serbs cannot make electronics to send to Germans. We cannot make clothes to sell to Italians. They are selling it to us. And we are simply not competitive to their market. And it's normal, they are better than us. They have better technology, they are better workers. First thing we should do is to cut those trade agreements and start to make agreements with Russia. Like go together in that thing that will become Euro-Asian Union. Because that's the only market when in the future we will be competitive. And the Russian government also invited Serbia to start building better trade with agricultural productions. And because of European Union made the sanctions. And we decided not to use it. Even our Prime Minister came on television and he said, we won't abuse suffering of the European Union. And what kind of suffering? They decided to make sanctions. It's their decision. He said, we are not going to raise our production because it wouldn't be nice towards Brussels. So we literally made a suicidal pact with European Union. And now it's a funny thing that Polish people send products to Serbia and it gets repacked and we send those Polish products to Russia, but we don't make our own. So first thing is the trade. We need to change the trade so economy can start growing. And when economy starts growing, you have a higher birth rate, people have a better position to raise children, and then the nation becomes stronger. Because if you have for example, if you have a low birth rate, it's very dangerous to put people in army or get into armed conflict. Because then if you use those youth people, you cannot return back. You suffered so much. And if you don't have a strong army, then again everybody's going to mess with you. Nobody takes you seriously if you cannot defend yourself. And it's a circle. So those are the few things that I think should be done immediately after the government changes.
If you was president, with your Serbian army, you take back Kosovo?
Here's the thing, Albanians never even fight a real war for Kosovo. They fight terrorist war. They never fight a conventional real war for Kosovo.
But this is important what you say.
Yeah, you understand what I say?
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, Albanians had a two terrorist group, KLA, Kosovo Liberation Army and FARC. And they made terrorist attack.
Oh, what? UCK, what?
Yeah, UCK. It's initials in Albanian. KLA is in English.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And they always had ambushes, they attacked civilians, and sometimes they planted bomb to kill police officers. But they never even had a war. They are not prepared to fight a war. They are prepared to fight a war if Americans go and use their technology against us.
So it is really possible to take Kosovo back. It is possible.
It is possible little by little. You cannot do it in a day. But if they feel the pressure, for example, Russia took Crimea without a single gunshot. Simply because they are so stronger, so dominant, that Ukrainians didn't even want to fight for it, because they know it is the battle they're going to lose.
Okay.
So, Kosovo they don't even today have a recognition by United Nations, so they cannot function as an independent state. They only function by the grace of the Western countries.
Okay, because we have a poster, and I said you frankly, and it is, if Russia can take back Crimea, then Serbia can take back Kosovo.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I am thinking.
Are you
and you must keep in mind that you must keep in mind that many properties in Kosovo are still Serbians. They are illegally occupied. So, for example, mines. We have one of the biggest mine deposits in Europe. They are our property. If we return to secure them with the forces, it is not a war. It's not an aggression. It's just protecting your own property. Yeah. And I must say, sorry, one thing that we missed, it's very interesting probably for your viewers. ISIS is having a recruitment center in Kosovo. It's one of the biggest in Europe, in Bosnia and in Kosovo. And many foreign fighters that are fighting today in Syria, they have Albanian passports. Even one of the commanders of the ISIS was Albanian. He was famous for cutting people's heads off. So it is a very dangerous and extreme place inside Europe.
Is it possible for Serbia to take back Montenegro?
Things are getting worse and worse in Montenegro because of, like I said, the pressure. They try to assimilate Serbs to declare themselves as Montenegro. And maybe, don't take my numbers literally, but around 10 years ago it was almost 50-50. Now it's 40-60. And there is another thing that Montenegro government does. They want to suppress it so bad that they are bringing Albanians across the border and giving them citizenship because they vote for that Montenegro government. So it is getting worse and worse, but the biggest problem is that they don't have protection from Serbia. Any serious nation will stop that kind of abuse. Nobody would tolerate it. But we have very corrupt government. You must take in consideration that Montenegro government is really big criminal enterprise. They are doing smuggling of the cigarettes to Italy on a state level. Everybody knows it. Even for a long time, Prime Minister of Montenegro couldn't visit Italy because they knew he would get arrested there because of criminal enterprise.
This is very strange to hear.
Yeah, Balkans is a very bad place. People get surprised when they hear things.
And let's say that the Balkan geopolitics is sometimes very difficult to understand. What I can ask you, because you're a Serbian patriot, what do you think about the Serbian-Russian relations?
Well, the Russians are the closest nation to us. We don't have a bigger ally than Russia. Recently, when Kosovo tried to enter the EU, it was Russia who took the biggest part of the fight to stop it.
Oh yeah.
In the past, as you probably know, in the World War I, Russia went into the war because Serbia was attacked.
Yes.
Because Austria declared the war on Serbia. So from the past, we really like Russia, except the Yeltsin era. And probably most people who like Russia know that Yeltsin was bad. He was terrible. But it was bad timing, and after Putin came to power, we started to strengthen the ties with Russia, but it is not because of Serbian government wanted it, but because Russia wanted it. And Russia went interfered more than the Serbian government, because you must take in consideration, since 2000, year 2000, in Serbia every single government is pro-EU. They are fanatically pro-EU. Literally they say we won't do anything to endanger our EU integration. So when we go to negotiate with Kosovo, before the negotiations even begin, we make a statement, we are not going to do anything that will endanger our EU integration. And they know we don't have anything to negotiate with. It's like you accept for every single term they put on the table before even it started. It's not how you do negotiation, everybody knows. It's really like stupid type of negotiation.
But at the end, you think that Serbia will be part of the European Union?
Well, if we become part of the European Union, it won't be in the next 7 years, if European Union even exists at that time, because we saw what happened with Brexit. We see in Austria, FPO is on the edge of winning the elections. We see in France things are changing. And it's my personal belief, if after Britain, one big country leaves EU, maybe France, and one small, it's over. One big, one small, it's finished. It will go like domino effect.
A domino effect, So, in fact, if I am very realistic, the fact that Serbia will be a member of European Union or not is even not important anymore, because European Union is like a Titanic. And people tell, politicians in Serbia tell fairy tales about European Union. Literally, Serbia is now poor, we will get rich when we enter EU. And it's not how it works. We saw with Romania, we saw with Bulgaria. It doesn't change much. We can only travel, but if you don't have money, what's the point of traveling? Yeah, even if you're in your hometown, you want to go somewhere, you need money. You cannot go outside your house if you don't have it. And there is nothing useful if we enter the EU. We will stay in the same position. Except that it will be harder for us to trade with Russia, because we will be under the agreements of European Union. It is very nice what you say. If you have no money, what is the importance to be a member of European Union? Because if you have no money, you can do nothing. You're still poor, yes? And this is true. This is very nice what you say. What I have in my head, yes, the connection with Russia, there is the Eurasian Union. And I think for most of countries this will be a better variant than, for example, European Union. because European Union is they put their nose in every affairs everywhere.
Yeah.
They decide. You know that in Belgium, 80%, dus 80% of the laws of Belgium are decided by the European Union.
Yeah, and where is democracy in that?
And so this is
Exactly.
very hot.
I heard somewhere, don't take my word about numbers, but there are around 400 special demands if you want to manufacture towels. Like, why do you need 400 rules about the towels? It's the most simple thing.
Yes.
And imagine if Serbia enters the EU, how can we compete with that? How can we compete with all the regulations? We even cannot learn them. Our factories are small.
Yes.
They don't have that kind of power, and they will be taken over by bigger corporation, and then again we lose our national wealth. And like you said about Eurasian Union, the wealth is moving east, and more or less the Western countries are decreasing in their economic wealth. And the thing is, probably many countries in Europe would be having better deal to trading with Russia than to trading with European Union.
I think it is.
And they maybe would be even better militarily protected, because NATO is sucking a lot of money out.
You know, now that you speak about NATO, do you know that the head of the NATO in Europe is by law always an American?
No, I didn't know that.
It is a law, yeah. The head of the European section of NATO is always an American. It is by constitution.
Yeah, I didn't know, and probably there is a reason for...
Can you imagine it yourself, just you, that Serbia will be one time a member of NATO, the same NATO who bombed 72 cities and villages in '99? This is crazy, no?
Yeah, our government is increasing cooperation with NATO, and recently we signed an agreement to allow NATO troops to move through Serbia unopposed, and every single soldier has a diplomatic immunity. So if he attacks somebody, if he steals somebody, if he even rapes some woman, he cannot be prosecuted by Serbian law because he has a diplomatic immunity. So the NATO should, in theory, prosecute their own men. And we saw that doesn't happen. We saw in Iraq, in Abu Ghraib prison jail.
But
they don't want to prosecute their own people.
Inside info, I heard the government is still changing a little.
Well, they are changing more in the media than in reality. Our government today tries to play both cards. They try to win the nationalist pro-Russian people, and they try to win the votes from the EU liberals. So you have like first gay pride parade in 2012. A little bit after that, you have a huge military parade, and they invite Putin. So they try to win both votes. But the
gay parade didn't end so happy for them. Yes?
In 2010, it was a huge riots in Belgrade.
I know.
And now, every year, you can imagine, there is 7,000 policemen on the street, only in the center of the city. It's like a war zone. I talked to a friend who visited Syria many times, and he told me there is less police and army there, and there is a war, than there is in Serbia during the gay parade. And actually they even drove military vehicles on the streets, on the Belgrade, just to proceed. And actually, on those marches there is not more than 100 people who are going to protest for the parade.
Do you consider yourself like a warrior who is like the last of the Mohicans?
I don't think.
Or do you consider yourself as a warrior who will see the victory?
I believe in victory. Usually we fight because we believe in it. We are not suicidal bombers, you know.
Do you believe that Serbia go really, you say, NATO out, European Union out, we love Russia? Do you believe it is possible in Serbia?
It can change. Russia has a big support inside Serbia.
I know,
But the thing is, European Union still has a bigger support, but it's decreasing, and especially with the young people. Young people, students, and there was a polls made by high school kids. They support more Russia and they're more anti-EU. Many of them like anti-EU, but they don't support Russia. But in general, new generations, it's like we say in Serbia, change of generations. If your grandparents were communists, then those after them are Democrats. And I think that for the future generation, it will be patriotism and nationalism in Serbia, and anti-globalism. We see that change across Europe. Anti-globalist parties get more and more votes. So I hope that that is a trend that will go also to Serbia.
So it means if I understand you very well, so the young people, they are, let's say, not so fan of the globalism, yes?
Yeah, less.
They're anti-liberal.
Yeah.
So it means the future is to Serbia.
Yeah. Young people, and the thing is, young generation, the generation that I am, they used to scare us with war. Like if Serbia doesn't follow EU, if we do not accept what NATO says, USA says, there will be another war. But new generation cannot be frightened with that. First of all, for their life, they're living badly. They are wanting a change. They are ready even to take a risk just to have something better. So in general, like that's how do you say, mentality when you only thinking it could be worse, it could be worse. My grandmother used to say when there was a bombing in '99, oh, it's fine, because she remembered the Germans, and he said it's fine. They are only bombing, and Germans were there on the ground. You know, is that mentality can be even worse that is destroying us. It's the fear inside the population that is doing the most damage.
I see it now also in Europe, here in Belgium, we are in Flanders and Belgium, and I see that people say European Union is good because better this system than war. Because you know the Second World War was not so funny here, nowhere. But okay, I understand that, but in fact you say me, the Serbian people are in fact the people who love peace.
Well, we never choose to fight wars. In the 90s...
It's not what the media tells us.
Of course, they don't like us. The thing is, when there was a breakout of Yugoslavia, the Western government decided that federal unit borders must stay. And Serbs said, okay, if things break away, Serbs take the territory where Serbia is majority. Croats take where the Croatians are majority. And those federal borders were not important because they were internal borders. They were not recognized outside. They were not recognized by the United Nations. They were not recognized by any state, by France, Belgium, nobody. And the West insisted that they must stay. And actually it was a funny thing. You take a comparison about Bosnia and Yugoslavia. They said Yugoslavia must break up because Serbs who are Orthodox, because Croats who are Catholics and the Bosniak who are Muslims don't want to live together, and it must break up. But when it comes to Bosnia, they said, oh, here they must stay together. Orthodox, Catholics and Muslims must stay together, and they literally forced them. Whole war was made because of border disputes, of the borderlines that were never recognized by any single country in the world. So actually it was made to weaken the Serbian position because Serbian people took too many territory on the Balkans, and we were the dominant nation there.
Are you Orthodox?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it possible that in fact the war against Serbia is even not only a war against Serbia, but that there is some kind of war against Orthodoxy and even Slavic people?
There is a thing about the wars. Usually you have occupation and armed conflict. It's the first stage. And then you want assimilation. You actually want your culture to expand. That's what Turks have done in Balkans. They want to convert Orthodox people and also Catholics to be Muslims. And it's like war on public opinion. It's what they want to spread. And Orthodox population generally is against, it sees Russia as its, how do you say, leader of those nations. So, in generally, of course, they want to weaken the Orthodox identity. Many people are not so religious in Serbia. We are all Orthodox because when we get birth, they baptize us before we decide, and it's a general tradition. But the thing is, there is increasingly anti-religious sentiment only for the Orthodox people. For example, liberal organizations, they don't talk that women are abused by Muslims who live in the country. They talk about primitive Orthodox people who beat their wives and so on because they are so primitive, they live in the Middle Ages and so on. So in general there is a huge anti-Orthodox sentiment in Serbia, and it's made by same people who support the Western values.
So support by the West?
Yeah.
In fact, because you tell me that, yes, that you are against NATO, I understand. Because even we made a movie, a short film, about the bombing of that NATO did in 1999 on 72 cities in Serbia, so that we understand. But tell me, what is for the Serbians so bad on the European Union?
Well, the first you must understand the relationship with the European Union. Ever since the day one we started integration, it's all blackmails.
Blackmails?
Yeah, blackmails about everything. they force us to accept every single chapter and every single demand they have. So, like I said, if there is a gay pride parade, we will bring the army on the street just to make it happen. If there is how do you say, if they want us to change our laws to give minorities more right, it's a blackmail, we must accept it. They say, if you don't do it, we won't speak to you anymore. So, first of all, it's a bad, we are treated badly by European Union. We are practically humiliated. The second thing is, ever since we made those trade agreements, we are doing badly. We are losing money. Money is going from our country to their countries. And even if they buy some factories, if they invest into Serbia, they buy, they invest, but they fire the workers. So less people are on the market.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we are economically suffering a lot from the European Union. And in generally, they are also forcing us to join closer and closer to NATO. NATO and European Union, on technically are not the same thing, but in generally we know they are having the same views and very little difference in those two organizations.
Because of this moment, you still have in Serbia the negative points of European Union. Without European Union, you have the immigration.
Okay.
Coming from the whole world to Italy, Serbia. You have the gay parade coming from the whole world to Serbia. You still have it. So European Union will change not so much because you already have all these bad things.
Well, it is just the beginning. For example, first parade was made in 2010, but it was riots, then it stopped. They cancelled it in 2011. Then in 2012 it started the first, so we are just at the beginning of that. Immigration started like a year and a half ago. And it is just the beginning. If we enter EU, there will be a bigger and bigger propaganda to accept the mass immigration and so on. And there is one thing interesting about Serbia. Serbia is the only country in the entire world that forbids anti-immigration protests. It is forbidden. Police doesn't allow every single anti-immigration protest. So, yeah. So you can make a protest that is not under anti-immigration name. It is, I don't know, protest against the government. And you can speak against immigration on that protest. But you cannot make it under the official title, protest against immigration into Serbia. So they talk about us about freedom, how European Union will give us more right of speech and those kinds of things. But they are actually controlling every little single thing that they do not like. There is a funny saying, I heard it somewhere, that when you control the language of people, when you control political correctness, you are trying to control the mind of the people. And if they accept it, if they accept what they can say or cannot say, it's literally then like a dictatorship.
Yes, I'm surprised by this stuff.
Like I said before during the interview, many things surprise people when they hear about Serbia.
Okay, but if you tell all these things about Serbia, give me one reason why I must love Serbia.
Well, because of the people who are fighting against it. Because the thing is, Serbia can have a good future because we can be a position which is good, like you can see on the map. We are on the crossroads. We can connect Eastern Europe and Asia. We can connect Eastern Europe and the West. But we need to get rid of the corruption and we need to get rid of the humiliation in foreign policy. We need to give up of the policy of accepting every single blackmail that is going on. And the Serbians actually are fighting for a long time. You must understand, since the year 90, we are fighting against globalism. For 10 years we were fighting against it, we got bombed. And even today, Serbia is so slowly going towards European Union because many people are fighting against it. If they were not of those people, then it would be a much faster process.
So your fight is influencing the situation? Yes?
Yeah.
Without your fight, your struggle, it would be something else?
Yeah, things will go very much faster. Then again, gay parade is not so important today, but first they attempted in 2001. So 10 years ago it could have started, but there were riots on the streets, there was public opinion that was against it, and then they need to stop it for 10 years. So those are the good things in Serbia. Not riots, I'm not supporting riots and fights on the street, but the public opinion that is against it and that is blocking those kinds of things from progressing further. That's why today we don't still have demands for adopting children by same-sex couples. And
by gays. Yes. Because, okay, why do you love Serbia?
Well, it's my nation, it's my people. Why do you love your family? Would you change it? I don't think anybody would.
This is a nice answer.
Yeah.
What is your wish? Your most deepest wish? What is it?
Politically.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, that we have finally anti-EU government that will take us away from integration.
So you consider yourself as opposition?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you can understand that we as euro-rus, we cannot choose opposition and government. You see, with the geopolitics, I have the same point, let's say, we have the same point in Russia. We can understand that some Russians are, let's say, opposition of the government. I think this is the democratic system. In a democratic system you can have opposition, but we don't interfere with it. We say just, okay, speak please. It's democratic system, speak, tell your opinion to us. Are you sure that the government is doing nothing good?
Well, the thing that the government is doing good, they are doing it out of fear. For example, we didn't make sanctions to Russia, but they didn't do it because of fear. They know our economy would collapse. And they know that after economy collapse, and of course big part of public opinion would turn against government, and then after economy collapse, they lose power. And most of those things that the government is doing is purely because they want economical profit from it. Like I said, it's the only trade market when we can compete. In Russia and Kazakhstan and so on, Belarus. So you can say they are the good things, but they are not from the good motives. They are like...
Okay, but at the end it is important what we do and not what we think, yes?
Well, yeah, I support every time they make some good agreement with Russia, I support it completely.
Yes. Is it possible that your party will be once on power in Serbia?
Could be.
Or is your party a really opposition party? Because opposition is important. Opposition stimulates the people who are on power to follow the right way. That's a real opposition.
It has a control function.
You see?
Yeah.
Yes, a kind of a whip. You see, because us, the government, can do not what they want. They do what the people want. Because us in opposition. You see?
Yeah. Well, I must say, first of all, I expect that in the future nationalists can be part of government.
Yes.
And you can see, like in the past elections in 2012, there were 0% nationalists inside the parliament because nobody went through the census. But now there is a 12% of nationalists.
Yep.
They are connected in three parties. Two are in coalition, one is independent. So in general, I see that things can change, especially with the young generation coming out. But like you said about opposition, there is an interesting thing. They are making in the Western media too much attention about things in Russia. There is small groups like Kasparov and those people. They don't have big support. They don't have followers. They don't gather masses, but they become so big and important. And
they become big because the Western press speak about it.
Yeah, exactly.
They are really not important in Russia.
Yeah, that's what I say. They don't have the following. People do not come to their protest. It's very small, but they have a big media attention, and it shows that they don't care about opposition. They only care to put their influence on some places. You saw big scandals in American campaign. Where is the opposition? Where is the will of people and democracy? Elections are getting rigged this time. They are getting rigged big time. They are giving rights to vote to people who don't still have a citizenship. There are proofs that they are putting dead people to vote on the ballots. So things are really looking up badly. And then again, American elections are connected to anti-Russian campaign. If you saw the debates, everything is a conspiracy. Everything is a Russian conspiracy, a Assange conspiracy, all these kinds of things.
So, for example, we understood a little your position about the Serbian politics. Thank you for your opinion.
Thank you for inviting me.
And what, a last thing maybe, about Serbia. Because I think in the West, people, they hear about Russia. They don't know Russia, but they still hear about Russia. And they have an opinion. A bad opinion, but an opinion. But Serbia in the Western press is not so well known. We don't hear about them anymore. And so you, like a Serbian patriot, with the heart on the right place, if I can tell it, with a good heart. What can you tell now to the Western people about Serbia?
Well, about Serbian politics you heard a lot, but about Serbian people I must say we are very hospitable people. We would like to help when people come foreigners. We are very nice to them in generally, but we told that hospitality it's a problem. For example, it is not connected to government institution. We are nice with tourism, but there is no promotion. When we have some monuments that are from Middle Ages, nobody even knows about it.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I would invite everybody to come around and see that there is not true about the media stereotypes that Serbs are people who hold the knives in their teeth and they like to kill little children, but to come and see. We are like every other nation, and in some things we are even more, how do you say, kind-hearted to other people. And you must take one thing, I will return to politics again. Serbia is today the only country that has multinational country.
Yeah.
We have today Muslims, we have Catholics, we have Albanians. Outside Kosovo we also have Albanians. And when you take Croatia, it is ethnically cleansed. When you take Bosnia, Muslim part of Bosnia, it is cleansed. When you take Albania, it is almost 100% Albanians. So with all the media propaganda and talking bad things about us, when you take the facts and how things are working, you can see that Serbia should have much better reputation than anybody else in the Balkans.
Yeah. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I hope that we can see each other soon in Serbia.
Hopefully.
From where are you in Serbia?
I am living now in Belgrade, but I am from Vršac. It's near the Romanian border.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's in Vojvodina region.
Because you know, we hope to organize a conference in Belgrade soon. Soon can be 2-3 months, yes.
Yeah,
But we hope to organize it, and we hope to see you there.
We will. We will be there.
Okay, Dragan, thank you very much.
Thank you.